Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
I'm Kyle. How are you?
A little tired, but
I'm
okay.
very tired,
Yeah, I know you
but
are.
it is okay. We had a fun weekend.
Yeah, despite the result,
Yeah,
we did have a fun weekend.
it was. It was a good. It was a good weekend. And on today's show, we're going to talk about our trip. We got some Union 2 discussion as well. We're going to talk about Philadelphia University in Miami. Obviously, Messi messed everything up, but we could care less about that. But anyway, we're in today.
Well, as it's opening weekend for baseball, I am wearing my Phillies City Connect jersey. It's a Bryce Harper one, and the Phillies took 2 out of 3 against the Nationals. So, I'll take it. Would have been nice to get the sweep, but yeah,
Yeah.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf said. So,
Oh gosh, you're gonna quote that.
just saying.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm wearing my Las Vegas Aviators kit.
Nice.
Yeah. Just it's blue and gold like the Union, so
Yeah, just different shade, but yeah.
different shade, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, where can people find us at?
So you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, and we are on Twitter and Blue Sky at TOTWAG. We are on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube at The One Team We Agree On. And we have our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. You can find me on Twitter at and Instagram at silly double underscore Jilly. And I'm on Blue Sky at Jillian Almany. And you are at Coach Almany on everywhere.
Yeah, and we have some articles coming out. We have a recap of our trip,
Yep.
plus some Union 2 coverage. So we'll get into this. Let's talk about our trip to Fort Lauderdale. So, yeah, we headed down this weekend. Inter Miami versus Philadelphia, top two teams, and
Mm-hmm.
really excited about this trip. This is one we booked early on,
Right.
and yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I actually have several family members. I have an aunt. I have cousins that live down in Fort Lauderdale. In fact, my one cousin lives like 4 miles from the stadium where Inter Miami plays.
And literally like a mile from where Messi lives.
Yeah, like he was telling us, he knows exactly where he lives basically, and he was telling us how kids just like wait outside the gated community where Messi lives, and but he'll like they'll see Messi like at Publix or like at a 7-Eleven and
That's
stuff.
the best
Yeah.
story. Like Messi goes to 7-Eleven every day, so
Yeah, so just like it was
I
kind
mean
of funny, but
he's a normal human being.
yeah,
So
yeah, but just funny like you know, so hearing that story from my cousin who lives down there and so yeah, thanks to my cousin Bobby.
yeah,
Beating the bookie. If you're into sports betting, check him out. Um, but yeah, so we stayed there with him and his wife Kristen and their daughter Amelia. So it was nice to visit with them, and I saw some other relatives as well down there. So that was nice. Just really quick trip for us, but I hadn't been down in Fort Lauderdale in a long time, probably not since like 2006 in college when I was there for a training trip.
I think it's been earlier for me. I think it's been like 2004 when I was down for like coaching.
Yeah, so
And we did go to the Swimming Hall of Fame.
yeah, the Hall of Fame pool. Spent lots of time in there,
Yeah.
as an athlete. So
I mean, it was nice to walk around the city and
yeah,
just see some old haunts that we had and yeah, but let's uh let's share some pictures.
yeah, yeah. So we went walking around down along, the beach and everything. It wasn't like the best beach day, but as they say, crappy beach day. It's still a beach day, and it was spring break down there, so there was a lot of people around.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went to a few places though along there. Didn't actually go to the beach, but yeah. So there's Bobby and Kyle and me. So that's like around Las Olas. And then yeah,
Let's talk about Shea Stadium.
yeah. So Chase Stadium, as people know, it's a kind of temporary stadium.
Yep.
So we got over there, a little while before the game, and of course, like I said, we were in a sea of pink there, and uh,
Lots of pink
lots of pink. Which can
and
I be
lots of
honest?
number 10s.
Yeah, I almost like I saw very few that were not messy jerseys. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, it's messy.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but also, it's like you think about the Union, like they don't have just like a big star. Like you see jerseys of like all the players.
But is that a problem?
I mean, but the thing is, it's like it's such a team thing. It's not,
And I get that. I get
yeah,
that.
um, because I mean, yeah, having a big star might get lots of people to the games and stuff, but I just found it interesting. We saw some Union fans there, a few, there was maybe like 20 or so that we ended up sitting near. But anyway, they had a plaza, like it was called like the fan zone, and it's kind of like I feel like what they want the plaza at Subaru Park to be, maybe, but it's not
Yeah.
quite there. And this was like after you went in through security. So they had like food trucks and areas for people to hang out, games. They had, bars. They had like lots of different things in there, like food truck type setups, like more temporary
All right.
things set up there. So people were all hanging out around there, and then all the bathrooms they had there were like more of the temporary kind, like trailers.
Hmm.
If any of you've been to Montreal, it kind of felt like that with Montreal, kind of.
That's a very good analogy because I felt like that really reminded me of that also.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
area below the bleachers and
yeah,
everything.
no, yeah, no, that's,
It kind of felt like that, yeah.
yeah,
So, but yeah, we walked around a little bit, and hey, we saw Dave Leno. Shout out to Dave. So made sure to say hi to him, and that was during warm up. So the voice of
Uh,
the union.
yeah, and we have some more warm pictures.
Yep. So here's just I took a picture of kind of the view. This is from where we ended up sitting, up pretty high, but. It was overcast, but like it really didn't, the rain held off, so that was good. Here's some of warm up, and here's some more from warm up. And then there's when they were doing the national anthem with the team lined up.
All right.
And worth noting too is when they announced the Inter Miami players, it
Yeah.
was decidedly louder cheering for the Barcelona players.
Yeah, it was.
When you think
And
about like, to be fair, Miami has some really good like young players.
yeah,
Like Kromoski, and like these guys are actually like
like
good.
Robert Taylor
Robert
scored
Taylor,
the,
yeah,
yeah, like
like
they have good young players and then they have some young good U22 players
yeah,
too.
yeah. So
Um my whole thing was that, like it was like, and we'll talk about it in a second. It was just like I look at this club in
yeah,
Miami right now.
yeah,
Like they're very good. I'm not being bitter. They're a good club,
yeah.
but the longevity of the club.
Yeah, that is it. Now, for the sake of their club, no, I hope people do stick around for them,
Yeah. Yeah.
I said on the live that Across the Pitch did
Yeah.
last night, after the game. We were waiting for our Uber for quite a while.
Lift.
Lyft. Well, yes, we'll get that right. It was Lyft.
Yeah,
And
we gotta get that right.
yeah, so I was on there and I said, it'll be interesting to see how many people stay bought into it once Messi's time is up there. And like, for the sake of their club, I hope they do have some longevity there. You want to see MLS thrive. Um,
But it is a concern.
but yeah, I mean, that's the thing when this team's built around like a huge star, and then, there's obviously some other stars there. Once they're gone, are people going to stay bought into it? That's the question. That's why I feel like they should be, I mean, there should be more hype around some of their younger players, but that's just my 2 cents on that. But, um, you know, with what I also want to mention, with the stadium, you couldn't like walk the whole way around.
No.
So like there was like, restricted area that you couldn't pass through on like right next to the away supporters section. So you couldn't walk around that way. And then but yeah, where we were was around a whole lot of stuff. We didn't walk around to like the other side or anything,
No.
um but yeah, like look, there were a lot of good food options and everything. There was different like Latin American food, and there's Argentinian food and stuff.
I mean, they did a good job. They had the
Yeah, like
food
that stuff was
trucks
good.
there. They
I
had,
didn't end up getting any food, actually. I realized afterward, I'm like, I didn't even need any dinner. Whoops.
no, and they had some really good food trucks.
Yeah, I would have liked to have tried it, but yeah, like I was still like kind of full from lunch. So I ended up just having a water and that was it.
Yeah.
So oh well. But you know, the stands, it wasn't a bad view or anything. We were basically at the top. And yeah, so we were in the stands. You know, our plan was to go cover the game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, uh, the press box is
Small.
small, and apparently it's very exclusive to get in there at this moment. So
Hey,
not us and other, and our friend Todd, we were not able to get into the press box for this. So yeah,
I have thoughts on this, but this is not the time and the place to air it.
no,
And I get it. Like I
yeah.
really do get it. Like,
But either way, we were going down to Fort Lauderdale, and we want to be there to cover the game and everything.
and we
So
did.
yeah, so we had gotten tickets, and as a backup, and glad we did because we ended up using them. And so yeah, we just were like, well, we're gonna cover it from up here, amongst Union fans.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
yeah, there was like about three
20.
rows full. Yeah, I'd say there's about 20, and there's a few random scattered ones. I saw on Gozdog's goal, like they zoomed in on the guy that was at like the bottom or like randomly, like
Yeah.
the one guy. So because it was funny, because I'd heard like, oh, they zoomed in on some guy, and then I saw afterward, I'm like, oh, that's funny. But no, I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of people, and I had like some random, I had people with like, oh, you're from Philly, high five, like they were like, I'm
Yeah.
from Philly, and so I know, and overall, like the fans were, people were nice. Everyone just chill, you know?
No, and that's where I'm like again, like we've been to some other
It's not like when you go
stadiums
to like NYCFC or
or
something.
like anything like that. Like everybody's like, "Hey, welcome." Not, and they weren't even like that. They were there to watch.
Yeah, like everyone just like didn't care, right?
Yeah, and that's really nice for away supporters, but it's
Mhm.
also concerning.
Yeah,
And
and as far as like the when the game was over, it was kind of tricky like getting to Uber and stuff. Like, it
yeah, that's why we went
was a little
on because
confusing.
it was very much like Chester trying to get out.
Yeah, it really
It
was
was.
because it was kind of just like back a ways from like a main road or something. There was just
And they
like
were like,
streets.
"Yeah, just go like 2 blocks down for
Yeah.
Uber." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, and so like everyone was down there, and so we were by this like random garage,
Yeah, it was.
and there's like houses and stuff around there. So, and then we finally did get picked up, but it took a little while afterwards. So,
So anyway, let's talk about the match.
yeah. So the lineup,
Nate was back at right back.
mhm.
Frankie was out because of Kai.
Yeah, so that was Frankie's fifth appearance, I believe.
Fourth.
Was it his fourth?
Yep.
Okay. Um, and so yeah, he played left back with Union 2 pretty much all of last season. So, it's nothing new slotting him into that role. But obviously, you want to have Kai there. I mean, he's the MLS leader in assists and, one of the strongest players on the team. You want to have him there. But I thought Frankie did a very good job filling in, especially considering, it's a road match against Miami.
Yeah, he was fine. Couple notes for Quinn Sullivan. He
Good.
reached 100 MLS appearances for the Union.
Yep.
He becomes the first MLS homegrown to reach the mark
Hmm.
for the Union. Sullivan becomes the youngest player in Union history to reach 100 games as well at 21 years old in 2 days, surpassing Amobi Akugo.
Akugo.
Yeah, 23 years and 3 months. Everybody's laughing at me. Um, he ranks tied for first in MLS with 4 assists on the season. Well, we know that's not right.
Hmm.
Scott has 5, but also Andre Blake made his 250th. Uh,
MLS start for the Union.
yep,
Yeah, and for Andre, it was good to see because, he had been kind of banged up a little bit when he was with Jamaica, but Bradley had said that Andre should be good to go for the match. And he was. I mean, you definitely want to have Andre in there.
yeah.
As good of a job as Andrew Rick did. You had Andrew Rick on the bench. He did not feature with Union 2, which we'll talk about later, but it's good to see Andre back in there. And the rest of the lineup was pretty much how Bradley had been doing it before the international window. So, you have Ty and Mikal up top and
Yeah,
and then
not a
there.
lot of changes,
Yeah.
but I want to share this post from
I guess yeah, it was you had Jan at center back along with
yeah,
Glesnes, so
but I want to share
Mhm.
this. If
Yeah, I thought the game of two halves. A little bit passive in the first half, not quite what we wanted to do on the first half on the game plan. But yeah, credit to the boys for turning the page in the second half and making a game of it. And yeah, we give away two big moments and concede two goals. On another day, I think. We walk away here with at least a point, or could have been a walk away with 3 points. So a little bit frustrating. I think the guys knew there was a little bit more here tonight, but proud of the way they turned the page and gave everything in that second half. And yeah, I'm not sure what the stats are, but I think 19 or 20 shots away from home. Dominated in many many phases and really enjoyed the game in the second half. So proud of the boys. Yeah, we knew it's a tough moment. We knew it's a tough squad to face, and they are where they are, and they are, with regards to what they can do in a transition. They've shown it many many times, and yeah, we use this as great learning moments, but still proud of the performance.
Yeah, and I want to say this felt different than the last few times that the Union faced Miami. Like last season, the home game, that was horrible. When,
But then
that
you
was like a horrible
also
loss.
had
And
the
well,
away game late in the season where you're hopeful.
yeah, that one, they were in it. And then you think back to the complete and utter bad performance during Leagues Cup.
Oh gosh.
When Messi played at Super Park, just like how the Union team just give up in that game. So the thing about, and like Bradley said, the guys, they didn't give up. They kept playing hard, till the end there. Um, and just they had some trouble finishing, but it there was a lot of positive to take away from it, and I have to say, it seems like the fan base wasn't all like doom and gloom about it. People weren't like going off the deep end or
I
anything.
mean, even Kevin Kike was like, "Yeah, I thought this is actually they look fine." It
Yeah, there
was
were a
just
lot of very rational takes,
yeah,
which
and
Union fans rational? What?
even like you and I are watching this like early on, like just a couple of my early thoughts. I felt early that Air Miami, even before that goal, was more dangerous.
Yeah.
Like you just like Fafa Pico,
Yeah.
former Union player, just cooked Harrow right at the beginning. I'm like,
Did
ooh,
I
that
say watch Fafa like burn the Union?
yeah, and like
Yeah.
he just cooked Nate early. There was that shot off the post
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Um, and then Air Miami, anytime the Union were creating space, like Todd said on the post game, like they were
hmm
creating space and they were
hmm
getting in and out. But this was a team coming in even before the guys that goal was only
Yeah.
giving up 4 goals in MLS play. You could see it. It was like the old bend not break defense.
Yes.
They would let you come in, create space, and then just shut it down. Um,
Yeah.
I did feel that Jovan
hmm
and Danley, and we've seen some other comments, it wasn't a great game for them.
Wasn't their best game, and they'd been linking up so well too.
Having said that, again, it was a learning experience. And
Exactly.
and like you go again now against some other competition coming up, but I mean, it was just, and it wasn't that it was bad. It was just Inter Miami was starting to figure them out, create chaos in the midfield, which
hmm
that's not the Union's thing. And they were trying to get, like, when Indiana comes in, we'll talk about it in a second, trying to create space, open up, and make runs. And they weren't able to do that on the night.
Yeah. Um, Union, it felt like they were in control for a lot of it, but then like Miami would, it all of a sudden they'd get the ball and just take it right down, and it's like, oh gosh, yikes.
Well, and that's what they're built on. It's
Exactly.
like, do you want to do what Inter Miami does, but at the same time, they actually outpassed Inter Miami, and
Yeah.
and so um, you know, even after Taylor's goal, we've seen a lot of things about this, like Jacob Glesnes,
Hmm.
Nate Harrell, the back line. Where were they doing? I mean, it's just the line was pushed up so far. And
Yeah.
Frankie was trying to get back. You saw Frankie running for his life
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
then you saw like everybody getting back. You saw Glesnes getting back. It's just that's the part of the system where it goes bad, and you gotta move on. Credit for the union too, because when that goal happened, I'm like, oh, yeah. As a fan, you're thinking, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And we heard a lot of fans, and you saw a lot of fans on social media going, oh gosh,
Yeah.
it's been sloppy.
It was also very physical and like
Yeah,
a lot of dirty plays going on.
on both
Not
sides.
both sides, but like, and definitely some flopping. Uh,
On both
oh
sides.
yeah, but can we talk about the really big one?
Which one?
You see, oh, was it Suarez?
We're talking about Ua trying to get a couple flop.
Okay, I mean we know Ua flops sometimes too. I
Yeah,
mean,
but I mean, let's talk about Mikel. I mean, he did not have a good night. He
nah,
missed
I
that
was
one
messing
v
with.
one where he made a great run to the
Hmm.
box, but he just couldn't finish. But no, Suarez flop. He gets the early goal with Taylor, and like he creates that space. Taylor gets that goal.
Yeah, there's the one where oh, was it Suarez that was running into Ty and then like
Yeah,
then he acted like oh like his throat or whatever and
yeah,
flopped down and the ref wasn't buying it though, but he was like but no, like the one time, yeah, like Ty got oh the the one with Ty though wasn't a flop necessarily, but the one that made me mad was the yellow that Ty got because the keeper dropped the ball and Ty was going to try to put the
yeah.
ball
Even
and
Higginbottom was like, yeah,
yeah, like yeah, Danny Higginbotham was like that shouldn't be a yellow, and
no. I mean,
I would like for pro referees to go back and like take that yellow away because that shouldn't be, but
no, they won't.
they
But
won't, but it really shouldn't be. But anyway,
I mean, that's part of the system. You fight until the whistle,
yeah,
and like the goalie dropped the ball. Like
yeah,
we all saw that from our angle,
and that was at
and
the other, yeah, that was like,
like everybody was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
yeah, that
And
was at the
they
other side of the field from
and
us
but
this
they
time.
replayed that in the
Yeah,
stadium, and we were
yeah,
all like, "Wait a minute, that's not yellow because he doesn't have possession."
yeah,
And we saw a couple comments. People were like, "Wait a minute, did he have possession on that?"
yeah,
Um, But, like you said, 20 shots to Miami 6, but, Union had 6 on target.
yeah,
But Miami completed, three of their shots on target were dangerous shots.
yeah. And every time the Union would get a shot, it'd go right to the keeper. It'd be like an easy play for him or something. And eventually, he went out and yeah, calendar had to come in.
Yeah, calendar
And
saved it for them,
yeah.
basically. But, like I say in my our articles coming out, it's a good thing that Union are creating chances like this.
Yes.
I feel like this is a good thing. Moving forward, there's still a lot that this team is processing,
Hmm.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing I want to talk about is the heart of this team,
Hmm.
and that was the other thing in my article was the heart of this team. I mean, we saw a lot last year, and there's a couple specific examples. All right, let's talk about the 55th minute. The reason everybody in the stadium was there,
Yep.
Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, we're not gonna hate on Messi. Um, Are there questions about the longevity, what he's doing for the league? I will take that. The Apple deal. We see all these articles coming out. That's fine. The thing I'll take away from that was he's warming up,
Yeah.
and people are just fixated on
Oh my
him.
gosh. It's just
He's just running
yeah.
around, and I'm walking back up to you,
Yeah.
and like people are like, "Oh my gosh, there's Messi." People are filming him warming up.
If people thought that like the hype around Cavan last year before he came in for the first time and such was like a thing, no, like multiply that by like 100 though. Like,
Thousand. I
yeah.
mean, I mean, I grew up watching this guy. He
I
is
mean, I get it, but
he's one of the greatest soccer players of all time, but
yeah, Kyle, Messi or Ronaldo.
Messi,
And you know what I usually say just because when I get that question, students ask me that question, I'll be like,
Pele.
Pele.
Yeah.
Just, but
I mean,
if it's
I
Messi or
remember
Ronaldo, I
that.
do
I
say
remember
Messi.
that.
But
Like,
but Pele, Pele.
I mean, but again,
Yes.
goes back to that. I mean, what do you do for that league? That's a
Oh yeah.
fair question.
Yeah.
It's a fair question. Now, there was money, things involved. I get that.
Yeah, yeah.
Having said that, like, ever as soon as he runs on the field,
Oh yeah.
everybody starts chanting Messi,
And then the Union
Messi.
fans are just like,
And
here we
meanwhile,
go.
we're all sitting there. I'm
They're
like,
just like,
well,
oh,
I literally turned
goal
to you.
incoming.
I'm like, well, this is the second time we get to see Messi live. I did see him live one time back
I had
in,
not ever because we were not at the game.
I saw
We
him
were parked.
back in the day. I'm like, all right, here comes Messi. And
And
sure enough, Messi does Messi things.
3 minutes or so into when he came in and he scores.
2 minutes, 55 in, 57 goal.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, okay, Jan could have done better.
I thought for sure Messi was going to score on that free kick he had that was like at that dangerous spot where he scores all the time.
Yeah, but
But
he
he,
dribbled off.
yeah.
But and that was actually the right play, by the way. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, look, I mean, what were your thoughts on that whole experience? Seeing the whole stadium chant Messi, Messi, Messi.
Like if I'm a neutral like at this or something, if I'm just like
You went to see Messi.
if I went to see it, I mean, hey, that'd be a really cool experience. I'm not gonna
Yes.
lie. Like and and I will say this, okay? My wedding colors, our wedding colors were pink and black, and I've always liked the pink and black aesthetic. It kills me. But no, like if yeah, like if I had no skin in the game here at all, whatever. If
Sure.
I was just like on the outside looking, I'd be like, oh, I love that color scheme. That's cool.
It,
But anyway,
if
just
I didn't care about MLS and I just went to see Messi,
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I mean, they had the Hard Rock Cafe with Messi kids.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I looked right across. I saw Chef Messi right there. I mean,
Hmm.
it's Messi, 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 Messi drinks, Messi
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Okay, I mean, I get it. They're trying to make the money,
yeah.
and then that's okay.
If it does bring people into, watching MLS and they actually, as a result, follow MLS, like, and not just Messi, cool. You know what?
Cool. No,
Or even if it just like gets people, to like
and
Inter
I
Miami
think,
and stick with it, okay, good for them.
but do you really feel that this is gonna happen? Because
The
like,
casual fans are
no,
not
because
going to.
like when they announced, like when Robert Taylor scored, like I heard like three people in front of me. Who's Robert Taylor?
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
I'm
I
like,
said to you, Kyle. I'm like, how many of these people actually know Robert Taylor is?
I mean, like, and then us that know who he is,
Yeah,
he scored on the Union before. Like, it's like these are good players, like Brendan
yeah,
Comanche, like even like Segovia. Like he comes in, like they're like, yeah. I'm like, you do know who this guy is, right? Like he's really good.
yeah. Like I'm watching. It's like it's funny seeing Frankie go against Kromoski. It's like they were just teammates on the U20s. Maybe like a week ago.
And you're like
I
tweeting,
was like U20 on U20 crime right there because like they collide. Like
what'd you
yeah.
think, Frankie?
Yeah, I thought Frankie held his own. I thought,
He was fine.
he was fine. Obviously, yeah, does he make some mistakes? Sure. But again, here's, 19-year-old kid going in this big match.
One of his brothers playing for the state title.
Yeah, and shout out to Rocco and Father Judge for winning the state
Yeah.
championship. Um, but, this is a huge, huge, game here and Frankie's filling in there and yeah, like I think he did fine and he can build off that, but I will say this, like unlike some players have seemed in the past, he did not seem starstruck at all. Which, I wouldn't expect him to be. Um, so just from what I've seen from him. So, so credit to Frankie for stepping in and doing an admirable job. So, yeah.
As the cattail comes into
Yes,
picture.
as Oscar makes his appearance.
Hey, Oscar.
Oh,
No, he's like, hey.
he's cute. Oh, Oscar.
Now, now it's
For those just listening to the audio, yes, that would be our orange cat. He's he's
no.
something.
Uh, look,
Yeah.
so he scores, and you're like, well, this could go one of two ways. It could go really bad,
Yeah.
or you think
You know
I'm
what I
not.
turned to you and said? I said, "Well, we know what they say about 2-0
Meanwhile,
wins."
I'm like, are we gonna have another Pachuca?
Oh
Because like
God.
the way
I
that
didn't think it was gonna go that way though.
no, but I could see it like a 4-0. I could have seen there's a world where it could have been 4-0 in Miami.
Oh, absolutely. But the Union could have had more goals too.
They could have. And that's the thing. The heart of this team, they get
Yep.
down Messi and then Messi scores
Yeah.
and they just kept the pedal to the metal. And
Yeah.
like I, I want to talk about Bradley's comments here about the substitution for Yvonne
Yeah,
because
because we were worried that Jovan was hurt because he didn't.
yeah,
First, we want to correct a couple of things through video, and we needed a little bit through the middle of the field when we had the ball, and it was just very tactical that to bring Indy on, so we could try and progress through the layers a little bit more, through the thirds a little bit more. And I thought we started tightening the screw. I thought we started to get some more turnover. I thought with the changes we made at halftime, there was a little bit more directness in our, proactive press and a little bit more on the front foot and a little bit more brave. So we corrected that. And first, we want to correct a couple of things
all
through
right.
video. And
Okay, so yeah, so
Sorry about that.
subbing Indy on in place of Jovan was just more of a tactical thing. So I mean, it was good to hear that Jovan's not hurt. Um,
No, I just think again, this is a game where, he had an off game, and
it happens
it does.
because he's been so good so far. So I
But it
mean,
brings up a good
yeah,
depth problem with Indy.
that's why you bring in players like Indy. That's why you have this depth. Yeah,
Yeah, and same thing with Bruno. Like he would go and say, like, you bring on after they corrected that, then you
yeah,
bring on Bruno, you bring on Donovan,
yeah. And
which,
there was that header that Bruno. Oh my gosh, like
yeah, that
it
was
was placed perfectly. Who
reminds
sent
me
that
of
in?
reminds me of a Julian header.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah,
Yeah,
who sent that ball in? I forget.
forget.
Yeah, but it was perfectly placed. Might have been Quinn, maybe. I forget. Well, Quinn had a good game, I thought, for the most part. So, um, you know, yeah, he was solid on the night, but um, I think, definitely one thing was missing, and it's no knock on Frankie, but and Frankie's very good at sending the ball in, placing it well. But
Yeah,
Kai is such a knack for that too.
he does.
I mean, it just yeah, he's so good there. So um you know brings it, but yeah, Damiani gets brought on, and then um Bueno and Donovan get brought in late,
I thought
and
I
then
thought
Macania.
Bland was fine. I thought
Yeah,
McConaughey didn't do
yeah,
anything.
there was one sub left, and of course some people, I was wondering, I'm like, oh, they're gonna put Cavan. I was like, oh, Don Garber probably on the phone, like, put Cavan in, put Cavan in. We want the Messi Cavan experience here, and
But
but no,
But after Gazog's goal, you saw, I mean,
yeah,
you almost went down, scored again to
yeah,
tie it up.
yep,
And
they were this close to it.
well, I'm gonna say, fans listening to this, it's all good. I mean, there's no reason to panic right now.
No,
I mean,
and I feel like fans aren't panicking.
no, and that's the weird thing. Like last
So
year, I
yeah,
think I think the expectations are low, and they're like,
I think
okay.
it's partly still it's March 30th.
I also
Um,
think that too,
so
but I honestly left there going, like I even said on the post game,
yeah,
there's points to be had there. There's a word where you can walk out with 3 points. Is it frustrating? Sure. And fans can be frustrated.
yeah,
But the quitness team does not stop, and that's a good thing. And
yeah,
that's a positive thing.
yeah.
And
So
there's hope.
yeah.
And don't even say the hope that kills you because I do feel this is a different kind of hope.
No, it really is, because last year you'd get teased and be like,
Yeah.
oh, towards the end of the season when they had a chance to make the playoffs, and then, oh, there's that glimmer of hope, and then
And then
no.
like Blake just rang out after that
Okay, can
injury
we
and
talk
just
about
taking out.
Andre?
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching, I'm like, Andre, Oh my God. Like, Mike, first of all, don't get hurt. But he was playing like a sweeper keeper there.
Yeah, and like Fafa, like the ball's just in no man's land.
Because
You
oh, I'm
gotta
watching
make
that and I'm like, oh my God, is he gonna get beat and like get chipped? And he almost did the one time. He almost like really was it Glassness cleared it off or one of them cleared it off
no,
like
and I want to talk about that.
yeah.
Like those are the two big things in my article. Like even in stoppage time, like Suarez misses that wide open net. You
Yeah.
got lucky. But then there was that other thing with Messi heads the ball in. Now he's not a header, but he heads the ball in perfect direction. Blake makes the save. There was a couple of those plays where last year that would have been a goal.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not trying to bring up last year, but like you saw them, like even when they got beat, they were scrambling. And it just felt like no matter what, they weren't going to give up that late goal.
Yeah, they really, really were
And then as
determined
soon
to.
as that they got the ball, they would go down and
Hmm.
try to score a goal.
Yeah, they were very good on the counter there on that, at least getting it out of there and
And
going.
I think that's what, you know, Cornell's trying to say there is look, the second half was better than the first.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, again, while they maybe could have gotten a point out of it, it's not something to panic over. So, but
No.
yeah, I thought Andre did real good job. It was good to have him back in. They had Andrew Rick warming up at one point because it looked like Andre
Very lightly.
lightly, just in case, something flared up there, something because when he and Fafa, like,
Oh, that was like, we were all like,
yeah, we're
ooh.
like, ooh,
But again, that's correct, Andre.
yeah. So I mean, good hustle on his part, and um,
Um, just a couple other stats there.
yeah.
You know, where was
The
it?
Union set a record for the most road goals in the first three road matches of a season with seven. The previous record was six, set in 2022, 2023, and 2024.
So we're ahead of schedule there.
Yeah.
Um, where's the other one there? There's another one. Um, hmm. Um,
Well,
oh,
and about Danny.
yeah, Gazdag.
Yeah. So, by the way, that was a great goal by him.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say it was better than Messi's goal?
I gotta be honest with you. I kind of like Messi's goal.
I
I
mean, it was a
wish.
good goal, but was
I
it good enough to be a
no,
goal of the week contender?
no,
And if
no.
it is, either A, there weren't a lot of good, I didn't see a lot of the goals around the league because, we were
I did.
busy.
I mean,
I'm sure.
it's gonna be on there.
And then of course it's frustrating because no matter
Janka stepped up, and there's gonna be people like defenders don't step up. Well, in that position, in that part of the box, you have to commit. Messi beats you, he beats you. You're up, you're down 1-0. You commit to that.
Mhm.
Like it was almost like you're trying to lock him down. You don't want to
Mhm.
lock Messi down. You gotta commit
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yeah. Like
And people are probably listening, going, "Kyle, what are you talking about? You don't do that." I get it, but the defender in me, when I played, like maybe that's why I didn't make
yeah.
it to pro.
I mean, it was a very skilled goal, I think, but
It was.
if you're gonna have if I don't know if there was some, huge like golazzos, or anything.
I
This
hope there was because it was just a typical goal where you're like, that's a nice goal, but
yeah, it
like
wasn't
we
anything like
saw it coming
earth-shattering.
a mile
Yeah,
away.
we did.
It was like okay,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I really, if I'm being honest, I didn't really pay attention to like any of the other games this weekend because we were busy. So, yeah, I just like kind of followed the score. So, anyway,
You want to talk about you two?
yeah, so to wrap that up, yeah, so definitely things to learn from, and we'll see, how they head into the home match back at Subaru Park next weekend against Orlando. So they'll be playing for the second time. So yeah, so Union 2 played at Huntsville. They played Friday night, and conveniently for us, that game started right when we took off on our flight to
And
Fort Lauderdale.
ended when we landed.
Like literally the PKs, ended right when we had landed and we were just waiting to get off. So made that flight go really quick because we
Hmm.
were watching that. So anyway, um I'm glad too because again, this is such a blunder on MLS Next Pro's part, the fact that you can't replay the games.
All right.
So I'm glad we were able to watch it because then we would have been out of luck if we didn't watch it then. But anyway, so Huntsville scored like in the seventh minute. And in this game, you have Zemla actually making his first appearance this season on either team. And so he was in goal because you had Rick with the first team. And then, lineup wise, not too shaken up. No Eddie Davis in the lineup. I know that apparently Eddie was dealing with an injury. So I don't know, what his status was there. We'll, have to ask Richter about him this week, I guess, see what's
Yeah.
up with him. But,
Yeah,
you know,
I'll be going down a train this week.
yeah. Um, so yeah, you had, Sal and you had Stas up there and everything. But yeah, 7 minutes in though, Huntsville scores. And then, um, but then Sal gets his first goal of the season, in first half stoppage time. So you go into halftime
Mhm.
level. And another point to note is that Rafael Uzcategui, he made his first MLS Next Pro start. It was his
Yeah,
first
and
appearance
he
for the
was
team.
fine.
Yeah, yeah, he was fine. Um,
I mean, again, like Frankie, he's learning. So, I mean, there was like one or two places like, ooh.
yeah,
But
yeah.
there, there was also some places like you see the talent that Ryan was very high on.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, he was in there. You know, Oscar Benitez, he was in there. No Gavin Wetzel because he had the red card.
Who impressed you more through a couple play? I mean, it's only 3 games. Um, Oscar or Raphael?
Well, it's a small sample size to be honest.
I, I'm I'm really high on Ramsey actually.
Yeah, Ramsey's done a good job. If I'm being honest too, here's
I,
the thing. I
I
was
think
watching this game on
Raphael.
my phone and it was kind of blurry, so it
Yeah,
made it harder to like see who was who, but I only knew who they were because, like their positioning and I could see, I could just figure it out.
I think the Union two with Neil have a very good problem at center back.
Yeah, no,
Or
like
even at the back line. You
let's
can
let's talk about Neil for a second
he
because
was
Neil put
excellent.
on a show. Like Neil, even like the commentators, just gushing about Neil in there and deservedly. Even in their it being a draw and a shootout loss, Neil I think was like, he was one of the players of the match for sure. Just his ball placement and, his defense and everything just Neil was, I think, for Union 2, like maybe probably the best player on the field.
He was.
Um,
And before everybody starts banging the table to replace Glasses, no. That's a jump.
Also, let's pump the brakes on that. Neil's
Yeah,
like 17.
he's
Um,
17 and
Now I
he's
get like you could say, oh well, um,
the
there's
pace and the
there
passing
and
and
hey, Jack McGlynn was playing at 17 and
I mean
Cavan's on there. So I get that, but it's like, um, let him cook, let him cook. But
like
Neil's doing great. Like,
like lessons I know fans are worried about his season.
how about
I
Glesnes playing like pushing up and like playing almost like a
I
striker
mean
last
I
week?
mean freaking credit to him.
I mean, they're
But
trying to get creative there. I mean,
I mean look,
just
at the end of the
put Bowie up
day,
there. Neil likes to
let
do that sometimes, try to push up and be like a striker.
to quote Marlon,
Yeah.
we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to get that in his
Yeah,
head.
yeah. That's
Um,
funny.
but that was a great comment,
It
by
was. It
it
was.
was. Shout out you, Marlon.
Yeah.
And congratulations again with the U18s.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out Marlon.
Um, but at the same time, like pump the brakes some. I mean, it was good to see Sal get a goal. Cavan
Yes.
again gets
Yep.
a goal.
Yeah, second half Union 2 go up. Cavan scores, I want to say like the 59th minute or so. He scores and okay, so Union 2 have the lead on the road, 2-1.
And they drop points.
And then yeah, like 10 minutes or so later, yeah, they concede goal, so it's tied 2-2. And Union 2 had some chances, but just couldn't bring it home. So it goes through yet another shootout. And then I'm watching this and I'm like, well, um, Oliver Zembla, whose birthday, by the way, was Friday, his 27th birthday. He was by far the oldest one on that squad. But anyway, so I'm thinking, well, man, you don't have Andrew Rick, who is just so good at
Yeah.
shootouts. I'm
He
like,
did fine.
but I will say this. I mean, Zemel saved one.
Yeah,
So
and he read a couple right.
yeah, Huntsville, their goalkeeper saved two. Now, I want to talk about the fact that so Union Two's last person like was
Marcus.
Marcus Anderson, which by the way, Marcus came in the second half and I thought he played pretty well. It was
He
good to see
was
him back in there. I mean, it was his
he was
first game.
okay. He was injured. He's been
He's
injured.
been coming
I
off
don't know
injury.
why he was taking PKs.
Yeah. So
But he's probably one of your best options at that
yeah.
point.
Yeah. So and at that point, Cavan had been subbed off, Stoss had been subbed off. So I mean, you're more limited because those two can definitely bury it on there. But so Marcus, he takes his kick and then the goalkeeper saves it, but then the ref says, "Oh, the goalkeeper came off the line." And so they have Marcus retake it.
And the goalkeeper comes off
And
the
he
line.
comes off the line again and the ref doesn't catch it and it's saved and then that's it.
And well, we didn't catch the first time. Then we saw a whole bunch of people quote that, including Vince and a couple other people saying, like, even like the Bridge Brigade, like, yo, he came off the line again.
Yeah.
And then like somebody clipped the second one on MLS Next Pro. Was it MLS Next Pro News? Or was one of the MLS Next Pro
Mm,
sites that follows
yeah.
us? And they clipped it. And again, he does come off the line.
Mhm.
So again, it's MLS Next Pro. They don't have VAR.
Yeah.
They don't have like, I mean, these refs are trying to make a name for themselves just like these kids.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get gaffes like this.
Yeah.
Um, again, Union 2 do not lose.
So they got a point, which I
They have 4 points in 3 games. I'm cool with that. Move
they
on.
should have 4 points. And the thing is, I think MLS Next Pro's like standing still has it wrong.
Well, they do.
They do because they should have 2 points from the shootout win. So and then they had one from New England, and they had one from this one. So anyway, I digress. So three shootout wins in a row.
She's
I mean not shootout wins, but three shootouts in a row and
wow,
draws.
thundering like I am.
Sorry,
Wow.
I'm tired. You know how early we were up for our flight?
We have like 2 hours of sleep. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So
we digress.
yeah, so I hope they're practicing PKs a lot. I know Marlon used to have them practice them all the time.
Fun fact, they are not. At least the practice I am. I hope they are. And actually, I digress. The one out of 5 practices I've seen him practice PKs.
I say because it happens so much at that level. So
And I brought that up to you. Like this used to be a thing when I would go down to training. And I think a lot of it is they're still building.
well,
Because
it's so
when
early still. Yeah.
exactly, because we didn't start following you two last year till like late spring.
Yeah, like yeah,
Late spring, and they were
we didn't really see
practicing
that
that.
earlier. Yeah,
And now they're still implementing Ryan's
for sure,
system.
for sure.
So credit like Carnell, they're still figuring all this
Yeah,
out.
and
And
Ryan's doing a good job with them
oh,
and
I have
yeah.
no problem with that.
Yeah.
So
Heard a lot of good
if
things
you
from
take
seen things.
that, do not take my thing like they're not practicing that.
No, just
It's
curious if
because
they are, yeah, if they are
it's
practicing more.
because they're still implementing the
Yeah,
system.
for
That's what I
sure.
see. Um, anyway, wrapping up, Orlando City comes to town. It's fireworks night.
Yeah, it feels so early for fireworks night, but it's fireworks night.
Yes, many of cats and animals will be scared.
Well, this guy wouldn't be scared if he were nearby,
No, but
but our black cat would
no.
be.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, no,
Yes.
I kid. It's fireworks night, Super Park. Orlando City's coming to town. They're looking
Yep.
for revenge. This is a team that has 15 goals on the season, number one scoring
They're
team in
coming off a
MLS.
win against what, the Galaxy?
Yeah, but they also give up goals. They have
Yes.
15 goals, 12 given up. So
Interesting.
it could be a very high scoring affair on Saturday night. Lots of fireworks.
It'll be
No pun intended.
see
Um,
if we'll see if Kai is, back
yeah,
to good health. Be good
we'll.
to get him back.
I would like to see Bruno start. I think
I
he's
would too. I thought he did a good job when he started,
as much of
along
a
with
new
Ua.
supporter I've been
I'd like
throughout
to
the year.
see Ty and Bruno.
Yeah, I
See what we
think
got
I
there.
think that's the right play right now. I just think they
Just
fit the
rotate the
system.
guys a little bit and bring on Ua against tired legs.
That's a fair point. And you know, excuse me. Make sure we got some articles coming out.
Yeah, and Union too, they don't play this week. They don't play again till Thursday, April 10th at 7 p.m. at Subaru Park. We'll be there. So,
We got some articles coming out.
yeah.
We're off coaching next 2 weeks, so expect some additional content, some interviews.
If
I
you haven't
got,
checked out our interview with Mike Sheridan, definitely check it out.
and also if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our YouTube,
You
pod.
subscribe to our website too.
Yes. Wow. That was like, you were very psychotic there. Like, please subscribe. And you're like, you can subscribe to our website too. No. Um, I kid. But no, please subscribe it. It's a small like for you, but a big like for us. And
Yeah,
we appreciate all support. But more importantly, just engage. Like, we like to hear from you guys.
we
Uh,
really do.
whether we're right or wrong, more times than not, we're probably wrong. But
Well, you are. Speak for yourself. Just kidding.
I know.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
No, I am. But anyway,
No.
we're having fun with this, and we appreciate you guys so much.
Yes.
And thank you for listening again. And thank you for support. Like when we started this website, we were like, "Hey, we'll get like 5 or 6 people
Yeah.
following us," and now we're like 3, 4, 500 people a week. I know this week was a little down. We didn't have a lot of content.
Hmm.
But hey, thank you.
Yes. Appreciate it as always.
Um, but anyway, this is all for this episode of the One Team We Grew.
Yeah. So make sure to like and subscribe and leave us comments like we just said, because we love hearing from you. And, we look forward to bringing much more content as we move forward this week.
And until next time, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you at the game.